Avani is a village in the Mulbagal Taluk in the Kolar district of Karnataka, located around 32 kilometers from Kolar city. The approximate driving time to reach this place from Bangalore is 2 hours. Avani was historically known as Avantiktakshetra, and some legends connect it to Ramayana. It is said that Rama lodged here on his way back from Lanka. After being expelled by Rama, Sita is said to have lived here with sage Valmiki. Sita's twin sons, Lava and Kusha, were born here on a hill called Lava-Kusha Betta. Below this hill, in Avani village, there are a few temples collectively known as Ramalingeshwara group of temples. Entry to the Ramalingeshwara Temple Complex is through this Mahadwara or main entrance. There are 4 major shrines in the complex named after the 4 brothers from Ramayana as Ramalingeshwara, Lakshmana Lingeshwara, Shatrugnalingeshwara and Bharatishwara. Each of these temples have a linga dedicated to Shiva that are considered to have been consecrated by the 4 brothers Rama, Lakshmana, Shatrugna and Bharata. There are also some smaller shrines for Anjaneya, Vali and Sugriv, Jambavan, and a shrine dedicated to Parvati known as Sita Parvatamma shrine, which is attached to the Ramalingeshwara temple. There are also shrines for Subramanya and Ganesha, the 2 sons of Shiva and Parvati. According to the ASI, the main temples belong to the 10th century AD and was built during the period of the Nolamba dynasty. The Parvati temple, which is attached to the Ramalingeshwara temple, is dated to the 13th century AD. After the Nolamba period, these temples have been maintained and improved by subsequent dynasties who ruled this region, such as the Cholas, Hoysalas, and the Vijayanagara Empire. The Vijayanagara rulers also built the Kamakshi temple within the complex. The first shrine seen in front after passing the Mahadwara is the Subramanya temple. Behind the Subramanya temple, the entrances of the Ramalingeshwara, Lakshmana Lingeshwara, and Shatrugnalingeshwara temples converge at the same spot. You will see the Lakshmana Lingeshwara temple on the left, the Ramalingeshwara temple in the middle, and the Shatrugnalingeshwara temple on the right. The Lakshmana Lingeshwara temple is the most ornate temple in the complex. It is dated somewhere between 925 to 940 AD. It is an east-facing shrine and has a Garbhagriha, an Antarala, and an Avaranga. The doorway of the temple is Trishaka with 3 bands and was possibly added during the Vijayanagara period, along with the entrance stairway. On the left side of this entrance, you will see a Shaiva Dwarapala and a Shankanidhi made out of stone. On the right side, the Dwarapala and Shankanidhi are made out of plaster rather than stone and have mostly disintegrated. Inside the Lakshmana Lingeshwara temple, there are 4 typical Nolamba style pillars with relief structures. The ceiling has a relief of Uma Maheshwara surrounded by Dikpalas. There is a huge black stone lingam in the sanctum, which is the largest linga in the temple complex. The base or adhisthana of the temple has 5 horizontal moldings. There are carvings of horseshoe-shaped arches, elephants, lions, and imaginary creatures called Yali and Makara in the adhisthana. Above the adhisthana, the walls have pilasters and sculptures of various deities. Predominantly, Devi manifestations are depicted. There are 5 major manifestations of Devi shown with 4 arms and 5 minor manifestations shown with 2 arms. Shiva is shown twice in the Nataraja avatar and twice in the Bhairava or fierce form. Vishnu, Ganapati and Surya are shown once each. One of the figures on the south wall is possibly that of King Anniga, also known as Veeranolamba. The Dravidian style tower on top of the Lakshmaneshwara temple is made out of brick and mortar and was constructed during the Vijayanagara period. The pranala or drain for the sacred water is shaped like a makara with a bhuta protruding in its mouth. Similar pranala can also be seen in the Bhoganandishwara Temple Complex near Nandi Hills, which is also built by the Nolambas. On the north wall, just above the pranala, there is a sculpture of a sage seated on a lotus wearing a Rudraksha mala with a bag or jola on one side. The inscription by the side of this sculpture identifies him as Sri Tribhuvana Kartara Bhattar. He was also known as Tribhuvana Devam and was a priest and head of the religious institutions in Avani region for around 40 years until 961 AD, during the rule of 2 Nolamba kings, Anniga and Iriva. During this period, he constructed nearly 50 temples and 2 large tanks. He was a reputed Shaivite priest and also had the title Kaliyuga Rudra. The Shatrugnalingeshwara temple is nearly the same size and shape as the Lakshmana temple. The base mouldings are much simpler, with three mouldings, only one of them being rounded. There are poorly carved lions on one of the mouldings. The doorway is made from dark strapstone and has Gajalakshmi on the lintel. Inside, the Navaranga is similar to Lakshmana temple. The pillars have 16-sided shafts with floral hangings. There is a linga in the sanctum. The ceiling has Uma Maheshwara with the small Ganesha and Ashtadikpalas surrounding them. Many of the shrines within the complex have Grantha and Tamil inscriptions from various periods, including the Nolamba, Chola, Hoysala, and Vijayanagara era. The Ramalingeshwara temple is also known as Rameshwara temple. This entrance will take you to the Parvati temple that was attached to the Rameshwara temple. The deity in the sanctum of Parvati temple is known as Sita Parvatamma. In this shrine, you will also notice two statues of bearded men. One of them is Ilavanji Vasudevaraya, a Chola viceroy under the rule of Hoysala king Ballala in the later part of 13th century. Beside him is his brother Khanderaya, who ruled from Kurudumale as a vassal of Ballala. From the Parvati temple, a leftward turn will take you to the Ramalingeshwara shrine. It has a sanctum, a vestibule, and a hall with decorative pillars. In the sanctum, there is the Ramalingeshwara linga made from dark stone. The outer walls of this temple have pilasters and are relatively plain compared to the Lakshmana temple. There is a Dravida style shikara on top. The Bharateshwara shrine is smaller and less ornate than the Shatrugnalingeshwara temple. There is a Nandi Mantapa in front. Inside the temple, the pillars resemble the pillars of the Nandi Mantapa in front and have an octagonal shape. On the south Adhisthana of the Bharateshwara temple, there is a carving that says that the Nolamba queen Devambika had built a temple that was named Nolamba Narayaneshwara after she had lost her elder son Veeramahendra. She wanted her younger son Iriva Nolamba to become the king. Nolamba Narayaneshwara may have been the original name of Bharateshwara temple. This is the Lingeshwara temple, and beside it is the Vali Sugreva temple. A Manastamba stands beside the Lingeshwara temple. This is the Anjaneya temple. It is also known as Anjaneshwara temple. It is similar to Shatrugneshwara temple but does not have a tower. The pierced window screens of this temple have friezes of lady dancers. In front of this temple, there is a Balipita and Dwajastamba. Elephants are prominently depicted in its Adhisthana, more than horned lions, yalis, and horses. This temple, found on the right side of the entrance, is known as Kamakshi Temple. It is kept closed nowadays. The Kamakshi Temple is a later addition made by the Vijayanagara dynasty. The walls of this temple have friezes of a wild boar or Varaha and a dagger stuck to the ground with sun and moon symbols. This is the emblem of the Vijayanagara Empire. They have used 16-sided cylindrical Nolamba pillars inside this temple, which may have been brought from some old Nolamba temple within the same complex or elsewhere. The two pillars used in the porch have floral hangings and are round. On the left side of the entranceway, there is a pillared hall called as the Ganji Mandapa, probably because Ganji or rice gruel was served there to the devotees.